Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Grade 7, Subject Biology, Chapter 10, Disease, page number 141. So, today's student learning outcomes are viruses, reproduction of viruses. So, let's see what are the viruses. Like some bacteria and fungi, viruses are pathogens. This means that they can cause disease. Viruses are parasites, mean to say they can't prepare their own food and they don't have any system in their body to make food or digest it. So what they do, this means they rely upon the cells of another organism named as host for food and to be able to reproduce. So this is a simple structure of a virus in which you can see different, this is the nucleic acid just like RNA, or you can say that the standard, this capsid, envelope and the other parts of a simple virus. Viruses are extremely small, far smaller than bacteria or fungi. They are very small and we can't see them with naked eye. We need a microscope. They are only visible under an electron microscope. Keep it in your mind. A virus consists of a protein coat which surrounds a core of either DNA or less often RNA. So you can see here this is the coat and inside what's present, nucleic acid, or you name as RNA. So it's mentioned here. In fact, viruses are not proper cell. Keep it's not a cell, but they have no cell membrane and no nucleus. Only a little amount, small amount of nucleic acid that present inside them. How do they exist and reproduce? Viruses can only exist inside living cells. Once they enter the host cell, they hijack its enzymes, mean to say they capture or they hold the system, take all the system of the cell and use them to make new viruses just as a boss, and they start to give order to the nucleus as the cell. Whatever he want to do, he will do according to the information of the virus. So let's see, this take place as follow. How this happened? For example, these are viruses. Here you can see that, and this the host cell and the body of the host cell. The virus enter the body. The viral DNA is injected into the host cell. So you can see here first it enter, and then the viral DNA instruct the enzymes in the host cell to make new virus protein coat. So what happened when it enter the cell? Then this give information to the nucleus of the host cell and ordered him to make or do according to his information and make the cells or DNA as the information virus protein give to that cell. The viral DNA also multiplies inside the host cell. So you can see here now what's happening. The viral DNA is multiplied, start to multiply. So then the new viral DNA and protein code join together to make new viruses. So what happened? Then they make new viruses here, and after that the last step, the host cell bursts releasing the new virus. So you can see that now this host cell is destroyed. It don't have anything except the viruses. So only one virus entered, and you say there here the many will come out. The host cell bursts releasing the new viruses. The new viruses are now free to infect other cells. Now from one cell they can move to the other body parts, or they can affect other cells. Viruses can be very harmful and are the causes of many diseases because they reproduce so quickly. Their reputation, or you can say that the multiply time is so fast, they can quickly harm or affect the other cells. They do not respond to antibiotics and are constantly changing to produce new resistant strain. First of all, they don't have any response on antibiotics, okay? And second, if few medicines are affect them, they have ability to change their strain, or they can resist against the uh, medicine, you can say that. Diseases caused by viruses include influenza, the common cold, measles, chickenpox, and AIDS. These are the disease that basically caused by the viruses. An epidemic is when an infectious disease spread rapidly through a population, such as the epidemic of new strain of influenza that can occur. A pandemic occur if the disease spread over a wide area, such as continents or the whole world, like TB and AIDS are pandemic diseases. Thanks for watching. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Grade 7, subject biology, chapter number 10, disease, page number 140. Student learning outcomes, fungi, mycelium, hypha. So let's see one by one all the structure of fungi. Some fungi can also cause disease such as athlete's foot and ringworms. Fungi are not plants since they don't have chlorophyll. We know that the chlorophyll is a material that present only in plants that can prepare a food for a plant with the help of carbon dioxide, water in the presence of sunlight. But in the case of fungi, they can't prepare their own food because the absence of chlorophyll. The main fungus body is called the mycelium. So you can see here, this the body is known as mycelium, and that is surrounded by curve. And here you can also see this all spreading thread like structure, you can say that as mycelium is present here. It consists of a branching network of threads or hypha. You can see this. These are branching. You can say just like a threads that are spread all over or under its body. This is actually the network of branches. The hypha grow over the surface of their food sources. They know that where the food is present, so instead of moving there and they don't have their hands, what it do, it spread its these kinds of threads and they start to absorb the food. They release enzymes which digest the food outside the fungus. What these threads do, they first capture, or you can say that round over it, and first they release enzymes. These enzymes digest the food, and after that the digested food is then absorbed by the hypha. So then these hypha start to absorb the digested food with the structure that they have. Fungi reproduce by making spores that can be carried to infect an other person or animal. So you can see here, this is the structure just like a round like structure that present here in the ending part of the hypha. What it do, it's actually named as spore that can spread also the disease from one person or one animal to another. Fungi are visible under the light microscope, and the spread of fungal disease increase in poor hygienic condition where there you can say that not too much cleaning, and you can say that it's not properly washed the things, it can spread easily. Thanks for watching. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Grade 7, subject biology, chapter number 10, disease, page number 142. So let's start today's lesson. First, see the student learning outcomes. How do pathogens affect us? Incubation period, and how are pathogens spread? So let's see one by one. First, How do pathogens affect us? Pathogens have to enter our body before they do us any harm. Okay, they can get in through the nose and mouth and through any cuts in our skin. You know that the opening like mouth, nose, ear, eyes, and if somebody have any injury, maybe any cut on its body or skin, it can be entered from this. Once inside the body, the pathogens start to multiply. As we know that when they enter, they start to multiply. Conditions inside our body are just right for them, and number can increase rapidly. They want a condition like in our body, because this condition, the body temperature of human beings, you can say that very good for their reproduction, for their growth, because every type of mineral, nutrients or water, everything in our body, so they just want these conditions and then start to multiply. But it takes some time before we start to feel it. As they entered, we didn't feel them so quickly because their number is less. They don't respond quickly to show some response to our body. They will take time. This early stage of the disease is called the incubation period. You can say their infection is started here. Okay, so this time period is known as incubation, in which they just entered and start multiply. Then their production or productional period will go there, and then so on it will be go after that. Then they enter in body, but the first time where they entered and they don't show any response is known as incubation period. Now, how do pathogens affect us? The question is here. Pathogens can cause disease in two ways. Number one, they destroy living tissues. For example, lung tissue can be destroyed by tuberculosis bacteria. So they, number one, what can they do? They destroy the cells, destroy the tissues, and they damage them badly, like in this bacteria. They make poisonous waste called toxin. Okay, toxins what? For example, salmonella bacteria make the toxin that cause food poisoning. So this is a bacteria that can produce this toxin, and they can poison or make the food bad. The symptoms of a disease are the effects that it has on the body. What is the meaning of symptoms? Maybe like if you have some problems, you will respond on them. So these are the symptoms. These symptoms are often caused by the toxin that the pathogen make. Why these symptoms show? Maybe you have some problem, some bacteria like influenza or anything. Then what happens? Sneezing may become, or running and watery nose, fever. These are the symptoms of specific types of pathogens. So here the symptoms are often caused by the toxin that pathogen make. Disease are spread when the pathogens from one person are passed on the other person. Now what happened? One person is infected. Okay, so it will spread by himself to the others. Actually it spread the pathogen. So from one person to another person, they will spread. A person who has the disease in infectious, they may pass the disease on the other people. So how it can be happen? How are pathogens spreads? Here are some ways in which people can be infected with pathogens. So let's see one by one. Number one, in the air. Pathogens can enter our body in the air we breathe. You know that the breathing process in which we just inhale the air from our nose, so they can enter in our body from the air. The pathogens can stick the dust floating in the air. The air particle that have, maybe they can stick them, join them, and they can enter in our body from nose or from mouth. The bacteria causing diphtheria can be spread in this way. So this another example of a bacteria they can cause like this. What happened when an infected person sneeze or cough? So you know that when an infected person cough, what happened from his cough, from his mouth, or during the sneezing from his nose, tiny drops of liquid are showered into the air. Directly it will throw these things in the air, or you can say that the pathogen in the air. This is why you should cough or sneeze into a handkerchief. You should use some type of tissue paper. You can use your elbow to control or minimize the things that you throw into the air. Viruses that can cause flu and the common cold are spread in this way. So the tuberculosis, when active TB bacteria are coughed or sneezed into the air. So here another method, this is named as by touching. So you can pick up some pathogens by touching an infected person. So if an infected person is, you can't see with your naked eye, but if he is infected, because they are very small, so they can move from one person to another by touching. You can also become infected by touching things that an infected person has used, such as towel, combs, or cups. The fungus that cause athlete's foot is spread by walking on wet floor after infected people. If a person who have this problem, so if he move over a carpet or a floor, then the other person also move on it naked, you can say that the barefoot. So what happened, they can caught with this disease. A disease that is spread by touching is contagious. Very few diseases are contagious, like in food and water. Food and drinks can be infected with pathogens like typhoid and cholera are spread when infected feces gets into drinking water. So it's very bad, you can say that, but it can be from passes from the feces. If he get in the drinking water, then it will be infected this water. Infection can be spread into food by the person with dirty hands. This is why you should always wash your hands after going to the toilet and before you have a meal. Even nowadays, you know that about the corona cases, that so you should wash your hands, try to maintain a social distance, and use the things that we discussed earlier. Some food products that come from animals contain bacteria which are only destroyed by cooking thoroughly. If some foods that we contain from animals and we eat these meats, their meats, so what, how can we can clean them? So we cook them properly. So whatever the time for their cooking, we should give them properly. Like here, bacteria are found in some poultry products, maybe in hen like this, or the eggs of the hens, so maybe it's present in them. By animals, many animals, pests can carry pathogens that they pick up from feces. Might be possible the insects pest move over the feces and they infected, then they move towards inside our home and they can contaminate our food. Flies will settle on animal dung. If they crawl over uncovered food, they will spread the pathogens from the feces like the dysentery bacterium. So food should be covered up or in a fridge to avoid this. Mosquitoes can spread malaria if they bite an infected person. So it's mean infected person, his blood also have the pathogen in his body. So when the mosquito bite, actually it take up the you can say that pathogen. They carry the pathogen to the next person that they bite, and so the disease spread. Now this mosquito that bite an infected person, so it move toward an healthy person and bite it. So what this bacteria do, sorry, what this mosquito do, it's just transfer the disease or pathogen from infected person to the healthy one. So insects that carry disease in this way are called vectors. So it's mean the mosquito here is as a vector. By infected needles, drugs addicts should never share needles. If an infected person use a needle, the disease can be passed on to anyone else how use it. Viruses causing disease such as AIDS and hepatitis can be passed into the blood in this way. So the infected injection same like mosquito. If this needle used many times, what happened might be possible one person infected, so it can infect the other also. Thanks.